Okay, so it's one of those things that I can't always remember how to do, deactivate the chat or whatnot. I'm trying not to get myself distracted here. I know it kind of seems like an oxymoron, like why the fuck would you go live if you don't want to answer the chat? Well, I want to talk to you guys, but after I get done saying what I was gonna say. So yeah, get done saying that first, and then I guess answer or talk to you guys if anybody even shows up. So shit. Okay, was going through a timeline the other day. I woke up and some shit on Facebook, and it's So I want to start off with saying I'm not taking any stabs at anybody because I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys that watch this are gonna realize who the fuck it is I'm talking about because it's not just me following this build. It's pretty oh mainstream build, I guess you want to say. The guy who's doing it, he's got a pretty good following. So anyway, just going it's on the video, the posted picture of like, hey, my year long project, and then he touched on the fact that how everybody was, or that everything that he bought, every part that he bought was, you know, from a big company, not a Chinese knockoff. And he goes, how you're taking food and money away from everybody or all these companies by buying the Chinese knockoffs or whatnot, and so on and so forth. And he's like, I hope, and I think what kind of what triggered me towards the end was like, I hope you guys will see this in the end and come to an enlightenment. And it just came off as kind of elitist for me. I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I understand the whole fact that but at the same time too, these guys that he's talking about that he's buying all these shits from, these companies aren't fucking hurting. Uh, that's the thing. Once you're established, you're always gonna have your group of people that follow you. The way I see it is there's two camps, and these camps aren't really going to change. They may have some people cross over from time to time, but those camps aren't going to be overtaken. They're balanced out. I think pretty well balanced out. Maybe not in direct numbers through people, but through numbers and money mostly. I think it's a lot closer than what people would imagine they are. Because if they weren't successful, they wouldn't be still around. You wouldn't be making money still, or you wouldn't still be out there if you're not making money. Um, when it comes to the guys who set the world records, when it comes to the guys who are super famous and well established, when it comes to the guys that have the biggest followings, it's all pretty much well known that these guys have the big companies behind them. A lot of the times, especially once I got the sponsorship from Jesse and Nippon Racing, I realized that a lot of these guys are very well interconnected. Like even if you don't see it on the surface, throughout the backside, they are very well connected and in touch with each other. So it's all support group and network. So there's not going to be any fallout here. So there's not going to be. I mean, even I think if you look back at the biggest fallout was Arias Pistons. And even then, I think after hearing the story about how that went, like Arias the people who inherited that company kind of fucked themselves from greed, so that didn't have to happen. That company didn't have to sell out like they did to Wiseco, which I do believe was Wiseco that bought them out. All right, but it's okay. So the whole thing is about this. The reason why I thought it was kind of elitist is because the person who's saying it is also a well-established person with a big name behind him and all that shit. Now, let's say, even if he's not getting discounts, even if he's paying full price, and all that stuff, there's still the thing to consider is that not everybody is in your position. Not everybody that wants to do this is in your position, right? Um, there are plenty of enthusiasts out there who want to do a build that can't necessarily spend that kind of money for whatever reason. Either they're young and too broke, or they're older with a family and just don't make enough extra money to do that thing. There's all kinds of reasons why. So you're kind of telling me that that person should just not get involved. They shouldn't do anything at all because they're not able to buy it. It's kind of like saying I want to lose weight and I'm going to start running, and today I'm going to run a mile. But if I can't make that mile, I'm just not going to run and give up. That's kind of bullshit. You got to baby step your way into things, and that's the thing. These knockoff companies with some of these parts give you a way to baby step your way into doing things. All right, so now there would be the argument. I guess the counter argument would be like, oh, well, just save your hard-earned money. Save up a little bit over time, and then you just buy one thing at a time. That can discourage a lot of people. You know, it could take up to a year or more to build a car, even if you have all the parts. It's still finding the time and the place and everything like that. And there's still gonna be bumps and things you run into along the way that you have to get around. And then there's the whole technical aspect of the issue. Are you even doing the labor? Or are you paying somebody? So I still think that the whole knockoff aftermarket thing has its place. Now it also has its limitations, but that's also part of the baby steps. Certain knockoff shit you can use for up to a certain amount of power, and then after that it's just gonna fail you. And if you want to make some serious power, you got to go with the more expensive shit, which has been my thing I've talked about with 500 horsepower and beyond for like the longest, right? But then again, like I just said, it comes in baby steps. So you got yourself a toe into the game. You've started off, you're doing your basic shit. You've made your fast car. Now you've gotten good at driving. You gotten good at your skills, technical skills. You gotten good at building a car. You got all that stuff that you've learned using the great value shit, right? Now, when you go to the serious power, be a serious competitor. Guess what you do? You make that crossover and you go to the big name brand shit. So the fact that you should never use the knockoff shit, I think it's just kind of elitist, man, and I don't want that to discourage anybody. Like I don't want some people that are looking up to this dude saying, I want to be this someday, or I want to be able to do this someday, and then feeling like ashamed because you have to buy the cheap shit. Now, again, it's one of those things where I've said why I do things and why I buy what I do, buy what I buy for the same thing, and it's also about like power goals, picking out which parts you're gonna get for what goals you're gonna go for and all that stuff. But I just think it's a kind of a disservice to the public you're trying to, because I think while there are a lot of knowledgeable people in the game, I still think that the mass majority of people who watch this shit are casual fans. That's why I said that there's a lot of channels out there, a lot of YouTube channels that would be bigger and more successful than mine, that are just videos of race clips and shit like that, like four bangers and stuff like that. Like four bangers, a lot of their videos aren't even theirs. They're just like I know that's the case because one of my friends is on four bangers, and they didn't like link up with him directly to film that shit. He submitted it, or he didn't even. I don't even think he submitted it to four bangers. I think it's just info the shit he put out there, and they took it. Of course, they told him, but they took it and they used it. So it's kind of easy to just get a big casual following, and not worry so much about the hardcores. But at the same time too, you got to realize that a lot of your casual fans, even like me myself at one point in time, that's where they come from. You got to find a place where you're gonna come from, is where you're gonna start at. And I think that especially for me, like there's no way that I could have gotten to where I am now if I hadn't gone the cheap route. My very first build experience ever wasn't me doing it. I was still in the army, and I let fucking the bootleg Speak Factory from El Paso build a car for me, and it took over a year to put the car together, and it had bugs the whole time, and it really never ran properly. And that's going with skilled labor and going with all the name brand parts and all that shit. And I wound up getting ducked out of a lot of money too. I actually got robbed by Rich's fucking cousin who was running the shop desk. There was $500 that I got jacked from a turbo, because I thought back then, oh yeah, just spend $500 on a used turbo that I don't really know anything about, because it's a name brand. So I did that instead of just going to eBay and buying a $200 turbo. And then the fucked up thing was that money disappeared and I never got the turbo. I get my fault, for trusting people, and also, and then there was also the fact that the tuning was done in a rush and wasn't to full potential and shit like that. Oh yeah, so I was about to run out of ideas and wrap up. This is the problem when I don't have a fucking script to go off of. I'm just trying to keep everything in my mind. Here's another thing, a big story that also kind of leans to what I'm saying. Imagine if you spend all this fucking money on all the best parts and you crash the car, or the engine blows up. Now the engine, while even if you go name brand on that, it's not super expensive, so that's still, it's something that sucks, but it's recoverable. But you got to think about the time and the money invested in this shit for the turnaround, because remember, it doesn't matter how good your parts are, it doesn't matter how well built this shit is, things can always happen. A failure for a million amount of reasons can happen. Any moving part kind of fails on you, you could blow your shit up. Now imagine spending a year, spending fucking potentially $6,000-$7,000 or more on a car, and you crash it on your first outing, or you fucking blow up the engine, right? Then you gotta start over, all right? So imagine if this is your very first build, and you're doing all the name brand shit, and you spend all that money, and for a little payoff, you're like, what are you gonna do? That would break most people. As a matter of fact, that happened to the CSS car. Fucking Jeff built his fucking car, spent fuck tons of money on it. The very first time he took it out racing, if I remember the story correctly, very first time he took it out racing, he made a couple passes. He was still trying to dial it in, and he was getting ready to go home, and he decided to make one more fucking pass, and bam, smashed the car into a fucking wall. And it was from what he was saying, it was so bad on him that he was not considering traveling to any events outside of his home state, and he was immediately listed the car for a part out. So if that can break somebody like Jeff, who's like the founder creator and runs Cylinder Support System, imagine what that could do for the everyday person. So I think it's crazy, to say that, it's just like, oh well, you're unenlightened. I think that's the thing at the end that really kind of fucked me up there. I understand, supporting the companies, and everything like that, but at the end of the day, like it's not like we're all out here getting sponsorships. It's not like we're all getting free samples and stuff. It's not like these companies are doing that. And like and then when they do that, it's with people that are already well known, established with, who people have already kind of put their time in. I think there's nothing wrong, again, to say, like I said it a bunch of times already, there's nothing wrong with putting in your fucking time with coming up on the cheap side, and then flipping over once you've already developed your skill, or once you've gotten to a better place financially or whatnot. Okay, so yeah, okay, I'm done. I'm done saying what I was gonna say. So if you all got some shit to talk about, we'll talk about it. If you feel like you want to debate that, then also let's talk about it. As far as R&D to get ripped off, if you're retaining your employees, like, and they're not, the people who are developing that aren't going off to tell secrets, then how is the R&D ripped off? As far as I see, is just opening the parts and copying it, and that's happening everywhere, all over the time. Anyway, it's going to happen unless you have a patent on something. People are going to look at what you do, and they're going to copy it. I've talked about that a bunch of times. Like when somebody makes a discovery, it's only a matter of time before other people start to stumble on it too. I've also talked about the fact that I think that it's kind of petty to not share your shit, like especially amongst the community. Like if you're doing your own shit well enough, there ain't no reason why you can't actually go out there and share your shit and not still be making money. Okay, so that doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go away. Somebody can, like, I can do something, right? I can build an engine, and then somebody can take my shit apart and try and retrace my steps. They're not necessarily gonna do it as good as I would, or the same way that I would do it. But eventually everything's gonna be fucking followed. So the whole R&D thing, it all pays for itself. And in fact, big manufacturers do it to other big manufacturers. That's nothing new. Look at this. Look at cell phone technology. Look at cars. Look at the car manufacturers. Every generation, when the car changes, how many times we look at the other car brands and be like, "Damn, this looks kind of the same as this car." When the new Mustang dropped, everybody was talking about how it looked like a fucking Accord or a Camry or some shit like that. You're gonna see similarities across. People are gonna copy. Tesla fucking made an electric car, and they made it successfully. And now you see not just hybrids out there anymore. Now you see other guys trying to do that. Porsche's making an electric car. So because Tesla made the first mainstream electric car that's successful and good, now all these other guys can't do it. It's ridiculous. It's competition. That's how you keep the markets away from becoming monopolized. Because once you get a monopoly, when you can only get one service and one product from one thing, then they can put the fucking number on whatever the fuck they want, because nobody else can make it. Nobody else can do it. So that's when you talk about like that, talk about that kind of cornering the market. That actually works against you as a consumer, because if nobody else can fucking do it, they can put $1 million price tag on it. If you can't, and nobody else can fucking make an alternative, then you're stuck. Even the big pharma does that with their drugs. They patent fucking drugs, so they can put $100 a pill on a thing, and then this shit saves people's lives, but nobody else can do it. It's only a matter of time before somebody else comes back on it and figures out how to do it, and then sells it at a better price. It's better, better for consumption for the consumer. That's who says they didn't? Yeah, I mean, yeah, monopolies are. It's just playing God. It's. So, do you think that reverse engineering something and copying something doesn't take time? Right now I'm in South Florida. I was born in Miami. I've lived so many different places across the country and even the world. So South Florida is where I call home, no matter where I'm at. uh, I don't. Yeah, I don't think. Whatever, dude. Like I said, everything I said is legit. I'm the whole thing and not buying something from somewhere else. That's just kind of crazy. And how many things that were considered knockoff like fucking 10, 20 years ago are like mainstream parts now that people back and support. You know, like CX Racing used to be one of those things that were lumped in with the knockoffs. With the fucking what was those the stuff like Yanaka. There's all kinds of brands out there that were considered knockoff that now people would consider as a mainstream part because they've come up, they've made their copies, they've come up, and then they've proven themselves to be just as good in certain cases for certain applications. I'm in Sunrise, Mike. Okay, I'm Cancer. That's fine. You can leave then, Kale. That's fine. Yeah, cancer the industry. I think it's funny as hell because I know the people that are, like I said, like my sponsors who have given me plenty of, personal handshakes and thanks for promoting their product when I wasn't even told to or incentivized. I've done it without being given anything. I was actually given something because of the attention I brought of my own free will. Everything has a time and a place, and I think there's plenty of companies out there that make plenty good priced, well, or very affordable parts or modifications in the CSS's side that work that are user friendly. And even for me personally, like all the personal builds I've done recently, I've been through Nippon Racing, Scat, ACL, and stuff like that. And when people ask me about aftermarket and sleeves or whatnot, I talk about CSS because the affordability and the success of what it does. So it's not like I'm not using good branded shit myself. I just don't think that everything needs to be done that way, and I don't think that we should immediately discard some things. Look at, like, here's another thing, for example, like with Tron Pistons. If some well, the very first time I talked about Tron Pistons or recommended it to a friend or showed a friend, he laughed and said those are knockoff Arias Pistons. Now what happened? Almost all the big guys are using Tron Pistons, right? And then the story behind that being is that Tron Pistons were made by the guy who was developing and creating Arias Pistons. So yeah, there's another one of those things where somebody laughed at the company being a knockoff, and they are mainstream now, very mainstream. Kale Foster. No, I don't give a fuck about people doing what I do for less money because that's me. This is what I do on YouTube. I'm giving away all my secrets. There are people that come to me for engine build still, even though I literally show you how to do it. Like, I still make money off this, regardless of the fact that I say all the time that I don't care about making money off this. I mean, I would like to eventually someday, but I'm not stupid enough to believe that I have to be greedy and hold all my information back just because I'm gonna kill myself on profit. There's always gonna be there. There's always gonna be people that are still willing to buy, no matter how many of my secrets I give out. No matter how many people come and tell me, "Hey, bro, I built my first engine, and thanks to you." It doesn't mean that I'm never gonna sell an engine again. I'm not worried about it. The world's a big place. 7 billion people. 7 billion people in the world, and a lot of those people live in first world countries too. So I'm not worried about losing it. I've said that a bunch of times. I think that we can all share work to each other. I've given work to other friends of mine personally a bunch of times because there are people out there that are willing to do things that I'm not willing to do. All right. Even again, talk about Jeff, cylinder support system. We mentioned it too. Me and him both don't like doing anything outside of assembling a block. Now, cylinder support system, of course, is mainly their main thing, I believe, is just putting the cylinder support system in the block and sending it back out, sending a bare block, getting a bare block, modifying it with their CSS, sending it back out. But when he does do builds, he likes to just do short blocks, no heads, no fucking no timing and that bullshit. Just because it's easier thing to do, it's a lot simpler, a lot less hassle and complications, faster. And I agree 100%. I don't think for me to build a long block, it has to be special case by case. It has to be somebody that's local to me, and somebody who's very persistent to keep asking, and or somebody sent by a friend or a friend already, because I don't like doing long blocks. So again, I don't worry about people taking business from me or anything like that because I know that there's enough people out there in the world. Plus, there's always availability. Like, hey, I can't do this for you right now, so go to this guy. There's a lot of people out there that I know who bite off more than they can chew because they're greedy. They're so scared of losing a dollar and losing a profit that they will tell you, yeah, bring your car, bro, I'll start on it. And then they'll bring it in, get it to a point where they can take it apart so it's disabled, and then they'll stop working on it and work on somebody else's shit. And then you wind up with a 1 or 2 or 3 man shop. You got like 30 cars that are down and a long ass timeline to finish because they're scared of potentially losing a dollar. I'd rather not do that. Yeah, dude, I believe that 100%. The shop had the MR2 for 2 years, right? And then a lot of times too, when the longer the shop has it, it becomes a bad relationship between the customer and the techs or the shop owner. And then at the end, they wind up rushing it out or sending it out unfinished or sending it out with problems. And, man, it's fine, man. It's still the same shit. I'm only saying that because of it's the same kind of concept, man. It's the same kind of concept. There's nothing out there that has been invented in the world that hasn't been copied and made and mass produced by other people. Anything that's it's fucking what's the problem? Okay, so there's Wiseco, there's Arias, there's Nippon Racing. These are all different piston companies. Fucking Manley, Mall, all piston companies. They all more or less use the same shit, and they just maybe tweak the formula a little bit and say why their shit is better than the other guys. But they're all at the end of the day, all of them you can go out there and see they're all doing fucking their shit. It's your choice to see which one you would prefer over that. Who cares if this shit's made in China, bro? Who cares if it's made in China or not? Do you realize how big the Chinese market is? How much the Chinese market is probably the future? The fuck? And a lot of times, talk about shit being made in China. Being made in China doesn't mean they were researched and developed in China. Somebody takes something and they create it, and they're like, fuck, now I need to get this manufactured on a mass scale. Where do I go? I need to either fucking buy fucking equipment to make this, or I need to find a manufacturer that can mass produce it for me. That was what Trump's Pistons problem was in the beginning. He had the skill to fucking make pistons, but he couldn't mass produce it. And it was through the industry that him knowing people that helped back to support him to help him get shit that he needed to produce. But there's plenty of people who fucking have a creation that they make and they go to China to mass produce it because it's cheaper to do it over there. Why the fuck do you think companies leave? Like, if you're a U.S. citizen, right? If you're thinking about this, how big corporations leave because it's cheaper to produce their product through Chinese market. Same thing with fucking Nikes and stuff like that, and your Jordans that you have. If you're one of those guys that's a shoe guy, yeah, your shit's made in fucking China. Your iPhone, if you're rocking an iPhone, is made in China. So being made in China doesn't mean it's necessarily developed there. Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can have your fucking magnum opus car be that super shiny, super expensive car that you have that you want to keep for the rest of your life. But, you don't have to build every build like that. Yeah, I've had plenty of Chinese turbos and I've had them last for years. Yeah, but bro, how do you know that every single company out there is a copy? Because somebody told you, or that's just because what you hear? You don't really know the development behind any kind of product unless you're talking to the guys themselves. And anyway, like who are all these secret, super secret spies that are fucking robbing? The price don't mean shit either. It's just, mass produced. It means the materials they're using to make are not necessarily the same. I mean, people have done all kinds of shit with, turbos side by side, and you can see that, name brand turbos do have better show than some of these cheaper ones, and they last longer. But if I can use a cheap turbo to last for two years plus, versus if I can get a $150 turbo or a $200 turbo to last for 2 years versus a $1,500 turbo, how many times could I, how many turbos would I have to buy to equal up to that $1,500 turbo if they do the same thing? I don't know, dude. Like, there's no point in debating you anymore, man. Like, at this point, you've already said what you're gonna say. You're just trying to find a way for me to change my mind. That's not happening. It doesn't matter. I do have a running car. My car does run. It's just not tuned. Stupid ass. And it's not. Besides, dude, that's not the only car I've ever had. Just because you haven't seen them on the channel doesn't mean they don't exist. I don't give a fuck about my own running cars anymore. I know I have a bad problem. Okay, you've watched my car. When I started this channel, the last running car that I just finished building got stolen. Go back to the very beginning. You'll see that talk about, hey, I just got robbed. That kind of put a damper on my desire to have a car, to worry about pushing it. The only reason why I care about finishing my car was to showcase, the work to the guys who sponsored me, because I think they deserve to see it run properly. But once I get that car tuned, it's gonna stay parked. I'm too dangerous behind the wheel. I'm a fucking psychopath when it comes to driving cars. And if I have more power, I'm gonna fucking use it all the time. Yes, I have. Because it's cylinder support system, fucking nipping racing, and all that shit. And I have used, that's the same shit that I use for other people's builds. And I just got the fucking shit back from Roger. What the fuck you talking about? Stop improving. Everybody who's come to me and got a build from me that has come back and showed the shit has shown that it's working. I don't know. I don't keep up with it that long. But I know that like Ivan's shit ran for 2 years before he had any issues, and it was used parts. So that was Eagle rods and was it Wiseco pistons. And as far as nip and racing builds, I know guys that have gone for years on those. Yeah, dude, man, boosted, like, it is crazy. Like, for me to drive the only time I give a fuck about having a fast car is when I'm behind somebody slow as fuck, or somebody's being a dick in traffic, like trying to cut me off, and the slow ass car stops me from being able to go around that person. So that's the only time I care about having a fast car, because I'll blow the fucking doors off of them and haul ass and do like 130, 140 plus. Every time that it's not like I'm having a fast car to go to a race hangout. I don't care about that. I'm not gonna do that. Especially like now the job. Like, for those guys who've been watching and paying attention to me talk about not being able to have a ticket at work. Yeah, that's a problem. I work in an industry where having a ticket can cost me my job. Now, if felony reckless driving pops up, that's a fucking problem. I got in trouble in a write-up for, cutting off somebody at a slow ass speed in a parking lot. I can't have that. If I have that fast car, I'm gonna be going like that all the time. So I enjoy making other people fast. And I know that a lot of people that I've done my shit with, Blake's car, when he had his shit making like 450, I don't think he finished his fucking tune either. The hatchback, that was all eBay turbo the fuck out. And then he sold it to a guy who eventually crashed the car. But that's, what are you gonna do? Well, yeah, I'm doing all right, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. See, for me personally, I would rather just, I'd rather pay a car note and have something that's moderately fast, like 250, 300 horsepower, something like that. It's just enough where I can get around through traffic, but not something that's balls out. Because if I have the power, I'm using it. I will stomp on that fucking gas pedal all the time. And I have used, I have put miles on some serious cheap parts that didn't have any problem. I had another thing with stock single, my old school ass single cam, my first ever swap, the D15B that I beat the fuck out of for years. And then I wound up trading the swap for a B series trans when I finally upgraded my first B series swap. And then that's my single cam did the rounds with a couple of guys, and I think after 6 months it got back to a friend of mine who put it in a car and blew it up in a couple of days. And I've also had a friend who threw a shitty turbo kit on an LS, didn't tune it, and blew it up in 2 days, and then did it again to another fucking engine and blew it up again. And how it was a tuning issue. It's got nothing to do with the parts. Oh man. Anyway, so Cannonball. I don't know, man. Look, the way I see it is, despite the fact that I've been around for a couple of years now, I think that I'm still in my early infancy phase. And my biggest problem right now is I don't have a garage. Me pinning re-enlistment, that's my biggest concern, is getting a garage. Even right now, you see, I don't know how well you can tell, but those stack of pistons right there, those are the ones for the K24, or the K20 that's overboard like a motherfucker. So I'm gonna put that engine together, and I put that off for 2 weeks, just from being lazy, man. It's very easy for me to to lose care and interest on certain things, if I know I'm gonna have to go out of my way and sweat my ass off, I sweat like terribly bad. Like it's ridiculous how easy I sweat. I fart hard and I'm fucking gushing sweat. So when I think about going out in like 89 to 90% humidity uh, to work on a car, I'm like, do I really want to do that? I mean, I work on trucks all day, and half the times I'm in the fucking parking lot, and I'm not even in the fucking bay, and it's hot. So I'm like, fuck, man. And you know, why am I doing this car? Am I doing this for me to enjoy? No, I'm doing it to prove a point, and I don't feel like I have a point to prove to you motherfuckers. So I don't care. It's gonna get done. And now, like I said, I cared about getting the project done because of Jesse and the other guys. But that's the first thing I did when I met them at the first holiday was apologize. Like, look, I'm sorry. Like, look, man, it doesn't even matter. You've done already well enough just by getting the word out. And like I said, the next couple of builds I did was with that, parts from them that I bought from them. You know, I paid for with the money from the guys who was doing the build, and look, and we're getting it out there. So it's fine. It's gonna happen eventually. I don't need to rush to do anything. I've already proven well enough what I can do. Now, like I said, whether you feel like you can do something or not, well. You don't have to stay and follow or whatever. I don't care, man. People hate watch sometimes. People think I'm stupid or whatever. It's all good, man. But I think that my body of work already shows for itself. You know, people like you guys, you know, people like the haters or people like the naysayers that don't agree with certain things I say love to try and point about the lack of shit that I've done. But that's just because lack of fucks I give, to be honest. Like, there's no excuse why that car isn't done, like 100% done and ready on the road right now, other than the fact that I just don't feel like going out there and working on it. I like building engines. I don't like building cars. The last car I built got stolen. It took me a year to put that car together, and it got jacked. And the reason why that car got finished, to be honest, was because at the time I was renting shop space with my friend Blake. If I was able to, like I'm getting out of work now. I get out of work now, and I go to the gym. Before, I used to get out of work and go to the shop. You know, it was late at night. It was real cool. I mean, as cool as it's gonna be in South Florida. And I'd put a big old fan by the shop door, and then I would go in there and work in peace and quiet by myself. And that's how progress got made on that car. The fact that I'm only allowed to work during the daylight hours, and I sleep till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That kind of put a damper on my fucking time working. To spend a whole week at work, to have to get up, you know, early-ish at a respectable time to immediately go outside and work on a car is why that car is not done. If I had a garage, it'd be different. Because late at night, when my kids and my wife are all asleep, I can go and turn wrenches, and, you know, it's not like I'm using power tools or anything like that, so it'd be a lot easier. Same thing when I was in El Paso, before I got out of the Army. The first time around, you know, I was working in my garage. That was my thing. I was always saying for years at the time that I was like, you know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then it was the same problem. I was living in an apartment, and I was had to work in the parking lot, so it was very limited on what I could do without getting in trouble. I was literally like 15 feet away from the fucking main office, so I had to be careful. And when I moved, I made sure I had a house with a garage. And then once I had that house with a garage, I was like, all right, no more excuses. Time to start doing your shit. And I did. And I got a lot done. I got my stuff done. I got multiple friends' cars done. But, you know, I was able to work at my pace, my own pace, from midnight to 5 o'clock in the morning, which is the time I like to do shit. There's a reason why normally you guys see it upload at 3 or 4 o'clock in the fucking morning, because that's the time when I have my free time to do whatever I want. So, I don't care. At this point, you know, I've already made leaps and bounds in the community. I've already met the people I want to meet for the most part. Yeah, all of them, as a matter of fact. I've already met all the people that I wanted to meet and to talk to everybody I wanted to talk. I've done show when I need to show. And fucking in the future, it's only gonna be more. You know, right now I'm in a bad spot. You know, I was in the process of transitioning from, you know, work to the Army, to figure out what the fuck I was gonna do, possibly moving. It's been the last 3 or 4 months have been a hassle. I mean, I bought a B-Series transmission the other day because I'm anticipating leaving Florida. So once I leave, I don't know where the fuck I'm gonna go, how Honda parts are gonna be, and I got it at a very good price. So, and I'm anticipating the Trom piston build, the B18 I'm going to do. So that's why I got another B-Series tranny. But as beside from that, I haven't bought a single fucking part since the last holiday, which I think was March. So, you know, I have not been very car oriented. Here's this for an example, right? Like, I have my black RSX sitting out there that I traded for the running RSX that I drive, my daily, right? For my friend to come pick that car up, the only thing I needed to do was change over wheels. I've been saying I was going to change over wheels for like 3 months. I haven't done it. jack up the car, take off the wheels, transfer over. Haven't done it. So there's like the R6 on daily doesn't have VTEC. It only goes to 4,000 RPMs. I'm very there's a very good chance that it could be the VTEC solenoid plugged up or whatnot. Haven't fuck. I've got a replacement. I could just change it out. It's 2 bolts. Haven't done it. I've had that car for how long now, guys? I am fucking lazy, and the big part of that reason is because I don't have proper workspace. I don't like working in my driveway. It draws a lot of attention, and also, you know, as soon as I finish that turbo setup, I have fucking hot boys that live down the street from me, like on 2 of them. Like, there's no way these guys are involved in some shit. I get mad stares, people driving by the house slow. The fact that car hasn't moved, people don't look at it as anything. As soon as I fucking finish it, you know, and I have the intercooler up there and the car's moving around, then I gotta worry about every noise I hear, somebody trying to take my shit. So there's a whole bunch of reasons that I haven't worried about rushing to finish that car. But you can believe that if I move out of here and I'm going back to the Army, that when I come back, I'm going to prioritize getting a house with a garage, because wherever the fuck I'm going to move, it's not going to cost me $2,000 a month to rent a house. Wherever I'm going to move, because wherever these fucking places where Army bases are at, they're mostly cheap. So I will be fucking getting a house with a garage, and then I'll be making progress on not only finishing the Integra, because it's done, it runs, it just needs to be tuned and a couple of tweaks to get it on the road. And then I'll move on to the next one right after that, which you guys, I guess, can talk shit about how long it takes and all that stuff. Oh, and you know, same thing with like once the Integra's done, you guys are gonna see it in action a couple of times. I'm gonna do a couple of pulls and the car's getting parked. I'm not gonna daily it like I thought it was once upon a time. It's not gonna happen. Oh, and then of course there's the K24 or the K20, the big bore K20 that's going in the RSX. Once the RSX gets its swap, it's gonna be in a. I'm hoping for 250 horsepower. And I think that's gonna be enough for me, man. It's gonna be enough. As a matter of fact, to be honest, like in a like a fantasy world for me, like if I could do it, the Integra, I would track the fuck out of the Integra, but I wouldn't be the one driving it. I would get somebody else who knows better what they're doing, and I would just low key on the side try and practice my drag racing off camera without anybody seeing it, because I don't want to make a fool of myself. But hopefully at the time I could have somebody who does know their shit out there driving the Integra to show what it can do. Because I'm gonna push the fuck out of that car. You know, I'm hoping for close to 500 on pump, and then right after I get those numbers done, and after I spend a couple of months driving the car around, I'm gonna go back there and retune on E85, and I'm gonna push those limits. So if we can break out close to 600 in that car, then I would expect some really good quarter mile times with somebody who knows what they're doing. Yeah, I'm sorry. The reason I'm not trying to ignore the whole MOS question or whatnot. It's just that I've been talking about the whole me going back to the Army thing at nausea recently. I made a video about it that I uploaded on YouTube. I made some videos that I uploaded on Instagram. There's only 3 options I have. Yeah, I was a wheel mechanic before. But anyway, going back in because it needs the Army and whatnot. There's only 3 MOSs that the recruiters are showing me. And it's Cav Scout, Infantry, and Cook. Cook is a no-go. Absolutely not. I'll fucking no. And then there's Cav Scout, Infantry. And it's okay. I'm actually okay with that, because combat arms is what I was thinking about the first time I actually went to the Army. So I'm okay with doing Infantry, and it's got low promotion points. So that's the reason why I'm okay with it, because I was looking to reclass anyway. I wasn't going to go back in as a mechanic. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess, you know, like Mike, most guys don't really. I mean, you see, there's only 12 people watching the live stream. Most people don't pop out on my streams very often, so when I do a live stream, I like to have a topic that I can talk about, so that way it's not just me sitting here. Because if I'm sitting here not saying anything, waiting for people to jump in, then people are going to jump in, see me not talking, and leave. That's why I just talk about whatever I talk about. And then after, like I said, the main shit I've done talk about is done, then I'll talk to you guys. So it's like I was in the middle of saying something. That's why I didn't answer you right away. Yeah, like yeah. Most streams most streams are just fucking pandemonium with the crazy ass and millions of endless comments, and whoever streaming it to not pay attention. Nah, of course, Mike. Of course, I know. Yeah, I know. I know it's a fuck ton of time in the field. I know it's gonna take me away from home, because what else does infantry do? But I don't plan on making a career out of it. I think I think I just need a couple more years of doing engines, and I could get back out and do my own work that I want to do. But shit just got squirrely at work, man, with the safety stuff, and I don't want to leave the company on bad terms. I don't feel like changing to another maintenance place. I don't want to do work for anybody for mechanic work, but it's the only thing I can do as a civilian that makes me money. So I figured 2 to 5 more years in the army, unless shit goes crazy good, and then I'll stay. But I figured 2 to 5 more years in the army, and that'll give me the time that I need to do more work, get more engines out there, and then hopefully I can come back home and be done with this shit again. But it's whatever, like even like I said, me losing the weight wasn't me trying to go back to the army. I was just not cool with being super super fat anymore. But I did keep it in the back of my head to it's a possibility. It's always nice to have an out if you need. Okay, tell us why prefer DC Integra. Weight obviously the biggest weakness. Notice YouTubers seem to prefer them or say the obvious EG hatch builds, Osh DC Crush Honda Street. Mike, like I said, man, I don't really have a choice. The recruiters are telling me I only have 3 options. I'm just saying that I'm okay with those options because infantry was one of the ones in the back of my head. Now, of course, that's subject to change when I get the MEPS, but I'm being told to expect that that's what's going to be offered right now. As far as the Integra, as far as any chassis goes, man, I'm a big fan of a lot of cars, especially Hondas. Like, if I could have my way about it, I would have like a Jay Leno's garage of every fucking generation of Honda from '88 up. I like them all. But as far as the Integra was, I had an Integra for a while. Yeah, I really love the Del Sol. Del Sol is definitely a one I want to get back to. My GT scores. I think it was a 110. I want to say. Let's just say my GT score, my line scores when I went to the army or when I did my shit the first time around, they told me I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. I just didn't. I had a very low motivated recruiter that didn't really take his time to explain careers to me. I just picked the one that I was comfortable knowing. Okay, so as far as the Integra goes, like I had one for a little while. I dailied, and I like the car. It's a very nice, comfortable car to drive, and I've always wanted to have another one. So that's why I got another one. There's no real reasons for why I would get one chassis over another. Now, one day if I ever get to the point where I'm like competing like for real, like if I'm going to the real competitions and trying, then I might look at different platforms for the purpose of racing. But right now I just get it because I just enjoy the car. I just like the way it looks and all that stuff. Right now I'm an E4. But I think the last time I crunched my promotion points, I had like around 450, and it's like 17 to make E5 for infantry. So if I go back in as the E4, by the time I get out of training, all I gotta do is go to the board and pass. And as far as E6 goes, it's like 140 or some shit like that. Correct. I am good conduct across the board. 5 years, no fucking Article 15s. I will drive case off GG. Yeah, well, maybe one day. Sadly, one of the guys one of the guys I talk about a lot, Alex Tomlinson, he was building an MR2. It was K-swapped a while ago, a couple years ago, and then right when he was close to getting it done, he parted it out. And I was very anxiously waiting for him to finish his all-wheel drive Civic, and he's almost done. He needs fuel lines and a couple other things, small things, and he's parting it out. So, I don't know, man. That's why I kind of tend to shy away from the really big, expensive builds, because it takes me a long time to get the simple shit done, let alone fucking go back and do something crazy expensive. Terrible decision. Well, yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt, because that's what they say. Apparently they're giving out bonuses for infantry right now, like big fucking bonuses. I've got some guys that are still in the army that I have regular contact with, and they are talking about how bad they need it. I'm okay with it, man. I really am. Okay, so Mike, I don't know. It seems like you didn't hear some of the shit I was talking about while I was talking about re-enlisting, but the reason why, another reason why I was kind of playing with the idea of the army thing in the back of my mind is because I'm right now at 32. I'm in fucking fantastic shape. Like I know that I still have some body fat to lose. I have a decent amount of body fat that I still need to lose, right? But I've got muscle on me like never before, and I'm physically fit like never before. I can run further, run longer, push more. I just all around stronger. So I kept thinking in the back of my head like, how would I perform now? How would I perform now with at the level I'm at compared to when I was in my early 20s and didn't give a fuck about anything. I kind of let myself go. I struggled through with the basic bare minimum standards, didn't care about PT or any of that shit. So it's kind of like, man, how would I perform now? Like, so it's kind of like the challenge, just to challenge myself again, to put myself in a position where I need to use it. Like, there's a purpose for me being in shape, not just being in shape just to be in shape. Because it's not like I'm out there trying to fucking, pick up females or whatnot. I'm married for a long ass time, and my wife was completely fine with me being a fat giant piece of shit. For whatever reason. So I didn't lose weight for that. Of course, and then there's the health benefits, like no heart attacks or strokes or whatnot from being super fat. But I like to test myself, like I have the ability, to try and do something like this, and why not? And it's gonna pay. Like, I looked at the pay scale right now, and I'm actually looking at a raise going back in compared to what I make right now, which is fucking crazy, believe it or not. That's true. The reclassing is always an option. Yeah, cardio performance usually is something that goes down, which is why you get the big increase in time for your running. But my cardio is a lot better than it's ever been. I just did 6 miles the other day, and that's something like nonstop pace. It was an airborne shuffle. It wasn't at a super fast pace, but it was nonstop run. And because I know how fast platoons tend to run and how a company tends to run, I know that it would easily pass. I would easily be able to do a company run or a fucking platoon run at a long ass distance and not have any problems falling out. And I have tested my mile speed, and I'm able to do my time, and I think that I would even be able to run faster, like if I was on the street, because I am running on a treadmill to save my knees the damage, because I run twice a day and I average 7 miles a day. So I'm trying, and I've only take one day off during the week. So I'm trying, like I said again, trying to spare my knees because my knees do have some residual damage from the first time around. So so right now, I do believe that I can pass my fucking PT test without an issue. I don't think. I mean, is it gonna fucking make me tired doing that run? Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I don't think it's gonna struggle. All I need to do is put somebody fast in my heights in my sights, and then follow that motherfucker. Because I'm pretty good when it comes to. I'm pretty motivated when it comes to compete with people, even if they don't know I'm competing with them. Contractor work? Yeah, I would. But yeah, I did have somebody DM me, as a matter of fact, a while back when I said that I was thinking about going. And he was like, he was also ex-army, and he was working in Fort Stewart, I believe, and he said that he's pretty confident that he can get me a job as a contractor up there working there. He showed me pictures of what he's doing and everything, Humvee work and LTV and shit like that. And I was like, yeah, okay, but like at the end of the day, I consider that it would probably be close to what I'm making now as a civilian from Ryder, and I would have to move out of state. And I've promised my wife that we wouldn't take a big move like that to leave Florida again unless it was active duty. So I feel really nervous about leaving for a job. Like I did that once already, and it fell apart in 6 months, and I don't want to do that again. At least being in Florida, even though it's expensive, like we're making okay money. We're making more than okay money now, and I don't want to. I just. 100 Street Garage. 100 Street Garage. That's that's the guy that has the EG, the kick swapped EG, right? I or Oh, he did. That's cool as fuck. He's gonna do well here. I think I remember one time that I think you remembered him saying one time that he was having issues with. I don't remember. I don't want to speak out of turn because it's been a long time since I've seen anything that he's done. I would collaborate with anybody, man. I'm open for it. There's not very many people I would try to go out of my way for because I don't want to approach somebody and get like the stiff hand, like who the fuck are you type shit. That would bother me because I think at this point in time everybody knows about me at least, whether you don't have to know details, but you know of me. So for me to get that kind of treatment, not saying that anybody would, but that's my little paranoia. So the only people that I have the balls enough to go out to and talk to are like the people from Poor Piston and shit like that. The ones that are huge, because at that point, like if they don't know me or they don't say anything, no acknowledgement, I don't care. But as far as any YouTuber, I'm completely fine with collaborating with everybody. Whatever the reason would be, or even if it was just meeting and hanging out and saying what's up, I don't care. It's all fine. It's like, I don't have a problem with people. I'm not. I just said I like competing with motherfuckers, either they don't think I'm competing, but I don't mean like that for YouTube. The first year or so that I was doing YouTube, it was more of a thing for me, but now I don't care anymore. At this point in time, growth for me is inevitable. So I'm not worried about, beefing with anybody. And I'm also not worried about doing any collaboration for the viewer's sake. I would like to meet people in the community just because I'd like for us all to get along and help each other out and stuff like that. Like, I've offered engines to numerous people on YouTube. Well, not, I would say numerous, but more than a couple. Like, I think there was the guys I met through YouTube that are in Australia that I offered engine to. Irvin, I've multiple times offered engine to. Irvin Dorsey. Irvin's friends I've offered engine to. And same thing with Christian over at Honda Vlogs. You know, so I'm always down and open for that shit. Charlie, I'm not sure what that is. What's hold to run? Is that a typo? I hope I'm not lagging. I am kind of running low on battery power, so I'm probably gonna jump off soon. But I'm happy with this stream. This is a good stream. It might be lagging a little bit when I'm trying to, and you see me fingering the screen because I'm trying to scroll up on comments. Columbia Motorsports. Yeah, I would. I'd fly to the Bahamas to do a build. I'd go anywhere to do a build, to be honest. It's just, circumstances have to be right. I even played with the idea of going out to Australia. I'm dead ass serious about that. Like, why not? Like, I want to travel the world again. I just got to renew my passports. There's even I just talked about the other day with Roger. Roger made open invitation to go out there and meet him. I'd go. Why not? If everything was ready and I had the time to spare, why not go? No, not Mighty Car Mods. No, none of those guys. Uh, the problem with doing a live stream, I can't go into airplane mode, so my bad on that one. So yeah. I'm back. No. The guys that I talked about, the Australian dudes, they weren't. I don't think they're on YouTube. They're a race team. I think I have mentioned it before in a video. I did do a video on them like earlier in the year. Okay, now I can see lag on my side. That's the problem with streaming off of a phone, man. I get something like a fucking phone call and it interrupts the stream. Anybody here? Or is it just me? I see 6 people. Oh. Alright, Mike. Yeah, take care, man. As far as me traveling to race, that's not gonna be. That's not gonna happen anytime soon. I'm years out from that, to be honest. Like, I'm not even gonna bullshit in front on that one. When I start racing, like actually racing, it's gonna be whatever track I have locally available. Like I said, I think I'm a good ways away from competition. Right now, I'm more focused on getting engine work out for other people, because I think that it's easier for me to build my resume by getting as many as I can, many other people as I can racing my shit, or even just out there putting more time on my shit. I'm just one person, and I take a long time to do a build, so I can't rely on myself to get to that point. Now I figure as I get more shit out there and more people continue to buy, then hopefully we'll get to the point where money's in abundance and I'll be living in a place where I can work better, and then I can start worrying about actually building a track purpose car. But yeah, so I still think I'm a long ways away from that. And even once I get the Integra to the point where I could put it on the street, like I'd still be a long way away from getting any good numbers out of that because the suspension is a fucking hot mess. It slammed on the floor, but slammed on some old suspension. So as far as getting that car to grip properly and all that shit, I guess I'm a long ways away from that. Although Jesse did mention one point in time, he knows a wheel company, or he's friends with somebody who has a wheel company that might maybe hook it up with wheels or some shit like that. But I don't want any more hookups coming my direction until I'm 100% ready for whatever that hookup's going to be. And as a matter of fact, I don't think even like with the Nippon Racing pistons and the Tron pistons I got, that's a sponsor stuff. It was free. That I wasn't even ready for that, but I damn sure wasn't going to say no because I know I could build that engine even if I can't get in a car anytime soon. So at this point, it's not about getting any more extra stuff. It's just about kind of like getting a workout for people, letting that build steam, and then go back to doing more stuff for myself. But I have to have a garage. That's just, I mean, if let's say in the scenario that I don't go back to the army and I don't move from here and I stay at my job and I just get lucky and I don't get any more write-ups from safety shit, then yes, the car will get done. It won't get done at as fast a pace as it will though is if I have a garage. It's already been years and I haven't finished it. The car runs. It doesn't drive because it doesn't have axles in it. And I've been saying for the last 2 weeks, I'm just gonna go out there and put the axles on. That's it. But I haven't done it. And it's like I said, it's just that as time has gone by, and as I've done more engine builds for other people, I've started to care less and less about getting my own work done for me, because at the end of the day, it's like I had the first mechanic I ever dealt with when I went into the Honda world and the aftermarket stuff. He had two 10-second cars that were in pieces, for one reason or another. Or no, they weren't both in pieces. One he was dailying that was missing second gear, and the other one was in pieces. And I always, why the fuck, you build all these cars for all these people, like, why do you don't have your own done? And because that at the end of the day, his enjoyment and bragging rights came from what he did for other people, not for having his own. He didn't care, and it took me a decade, but I got to the point where I don't care about doing it for me anymore. I just care about other people. 20-second car. Oh man, yeah. And and even now, like same thing too. Like I said that I would rather have an NA build done just because of the fact that it'd be faster than doing a boosted build. But when I started thinking about it, I'm like, damn, bro. If I build my RSX and I down my RSX to do the swap, then however much time it takes me to do the swap, that means I gotta walk my kids to the bus stop, and I don't want to fucking do that. I like driving to the bus stop. Now, in my defense, I usually have only been asleep for 2 hours when I have to get up to take them to the bus and have to go back to sleep. So I'm trying to go and come back as quickly as possible without sweating and getting eaten by mosquitoes. So, but that's also another thing that hopefully when I'm in the army and my wife won't be working anymore, she'll just be doing school, and then I don't have to worry about having multiple cars that run. I just, we'll just have one daily and that's fine. So then I can do whatever the fuck I want. I love boost. I'm a boosted guy at heart, but I think the competition wise, I definitely want to compete in the 9.5 index. That's the ultimate goal for a K series. That's what I would love to eventually work my way to. And I know that I'm far off from that. I don't know. I guess there's just so many different factors that comes into play of an engine sound, the intake, the exhaust, and everything that you got slapped on it. It's all whatever at the end of the day to me. I never really cared. And most of my shits are open downpipe anyway. They all sound obnoxious and stupid. Alright guys, well anyway, I consider this a good stream. We're approaching an hour here. And I am going to put those pistons in this fucking engine block right now. I have skipped my run to do this, so that way I can do that, because I figured if I run for an hour and take a shower, that's going to kill me on motivation to... Well, K is the way now because it's cheap and affordable, which goes back to the beginning when I was saying about starting off cheap. There's nothing wrong with that. People are doing K now because they're everywhere and they're cheap as fuck. When they're expensive as fuck, you're limited to how many people do it. Zero fire exhaust so good? Nah, I've never heard of it. I don't know, as far as exhaust goes, I don't really know companies outside of like the generic ones that everybody knows. Excuse me, like Magnaflow and shit like that. But yeah, so I do want to get something done today. This is my last day. It's already approaching 3 o'clock. I want to get these pistons and rods in this fucking engine block and get that done, and then do my run. And that's gonna take me an hour, and I gotta take a shower, and I plan on taking the family out to go get something to eat and do some running around. So this is all gonna take some time, and I gotta go. So I appreciate all you guys to come in here and talk. Even the ones that are detractors. Like I'm not mad at that guy. I'm just, it's just sometimes it's frustrating. Like I see things that people say and I acknowledge it, even if I don't agree with it. But the fact that you're constantly trying to find a way to navigate around something to disprove or say why it's bad, it's whatever. It kind of defeats the purpose of the conversation. But over my time of being on social media, I've gotten more used to being able to do things. I've gotten more used to the social media thing. I don't pop off as much as I used to anymore. I don't get angry or upset, or just quietly block people. That guy's not gonna get blocked or anything like that. He's welcome to stay and talk. He would have to come at me several more times for me to get aggravated to get to the block point. But yeah, I welcome it. I just wanted to talk about it. The main theme is at the end is like, don't be feeling ashamed to start off cheap and work your way up. We all have to start somewhere. I started at the bottom, and I still consider myself way at the bottom, but at least I'm known at the bottom, top of the bottom here, right? And the bigger I get, some of you guys, I recognize your names that I've seen for a long time. I will eventually get to the point where I can do giveaways more often, and eventually I would like to give away engines, and I would like to do more sponsorships. The reason why I don't give away engines more often now is because I don't want to give shit away to somebody who I think is going to sell it. I want to give it to somebody who I can see has got some kind of credential enough where I feel they're confident they're going to build a car. I've given away multiple engines, and I've only got feedback on one of them, and that sucked. That sucks for me. Just putting that time and money on something that didn't, result in any numbers. That's all I want is numbers. All right, so yeah, again, wrap it up. Thanks guys for watching. I appreciate that all the time. I know that I've come to the point where I don't upload regularly anymore, and we're going to be going up to a big break, but I'm never going to go away entirely, and I think that I'm only going to get bigger in the future, and you're going to see more of different things. BHP Engine is always going to evolve. I like doing this, even if I don't do it as much as often as I used to. And I've been saying after I do a video that I'm going to do another one right after. We'll see what happens. Let me charge my phone for a little bit, talk to my wife, make some plans, and then I might do a video after this one, this small, short little thing. So, hope to see you guys soon. Peace.